everyone. Thank you for listening. Today's guest is a true powerhouse when it comes to women's health, from nursing to advocacy, from lymphatic therapy to uterine wellness. She's making waves, and we're honored to have her here today. Welcome, Artisha Rawls.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming here. Can you share with us just a little bit, and we'll get down into like the details, but just like an overview of like your story and your background?
Okay, yes. So, yes, my name is Artisha Rawls. I currently live in Viva, Las Vegas, where it's so hot out here, but I am a California native. Um, it's been about, it's going to be about 4 years that we've lived out here in Vegas. And I say we, me and my husband and our little jumping bean. Listen, he just turned 6. It's all over the place and it's my little best bud. Um, so um I'm gonna take it all the way back. So my journey, I had reproductive complications in 2022. And those reproductive complications were fibroids. They were different sizes. And then my uterus was a size of a pineapple. Think about the biggest pineapple, the largest pineapple you could think of. So, and then I also had, what else? Uterine bleeding. I didn't know I was going through menopause. I didn't know that was the name of it. Like I kept feeling like my own little private summer, like these little hot bursts. As I'm like, I call them like little hot bursts.
You say private summers?
Yes, because I'm like, what is this? And then I guess I didn't understand this, and I just remember having like a lot of this spotting. It was going on for some time, and I promise you, I'm not gonna, my eyelashes, they don't stay on. Because I get like really teary eyed with this. So I end up, honest, I had a miscarriage in 2022 for Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving time, like maybe a couple days around Thanksgiving. And I just remember just going through this and feel like I'm alone on this journey, whatever this journey was. I didn't really understand it. But I did remember trying to go find a OB, okay? And to say, okay, hey, this is the symptoms I'm experiencing. Fatigue, like I said, the my own private summer, the bleeding is heavy, constantly bleeding to where um honestly I'm bleeding at the time I was wearing the pads, like I was telling you. And mm, three in an hour, 3 pads I was changing. This is bad. So I'm just, as women, we're just taught to just be strong and you just get through it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is it wasn't normal, but it was my normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I found a doctor and I'm big in representation. I want them to look chocolate like me if they can, because I feel like, they maybe be able to understand my body a little bit better. And so I found a doctor. She looked like me. I was really excited to meet her, but she allowed students to come in without, seeing if it was okay. She was disheveled. She was just like such in a rush. But come to find out, she was leaving. She was getting ready to retire. So
So
I didn't get that care that I was hoping for, if that makes sense, or that I deserved. Fast forward, now the miscarriage. I'm still going through all these other different things. I'm telling you, miscarriage, but I'm like, okay, I found another doctor. She looks like me. She's from California. She's educated. I'm looking at her reviews and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Bedside manner is chef's kiss. This is the first time. Okay.
that
And
sounds
then now time is going on. I'm waiting for my results. No one is calling. So, now it's going downhill. And then I had to coach her into how to have the very best bedside manner, right? Because I'm in the medical field. You know how it's supposed to be. Even if I wasn't in the medical field, I know how I want to be treated. So I remember turning. So I'm a nurse. we'll go into why I became a nurse, but like, I don't know why I'm starting with this, but it's just, I guess God is like, okay, start with this first. So I remember going into, we call it the CLT program, which is a certified lymphedema therapist program. And I remember I just turned 40. Okay. I, and I took the, like during my program, and I remember like being on the table bleeding because we have to practice on each other. And so I just remember having the worst menstrual ever. So I got a hysterectomy when I was 40, emergency hysterectomy, and I just remember like the worst menstrual ever. I just remember just being embarrassed. And at the time, you can wear pants. You have to wear shorts because when we're talking about mega lymphatic drainage, we're talking about the lymph nodes and how to guide them, and we're talking about wrapping up your limbs and things like that. And that was embarrassing. So I think about a lot of different embarrassing moments for myself, and I can only imagine for other women. So I don't know, just wanted to start there so you can see like my journey with that. I wanted to become a nurse because I just love helping people. My mother's mom was a nurse. I have nurses, doctors, and pharmacists that are in my family. But before I wanted to be a teacher. And so then later, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow what you guys are doing. This is great. Like, just being able to serve others. And so absolutely loved it. I started off as a medical assistant first. Then I taught medical assistant. Then I went into nursing, and then I went on to be a CLT. It's not a lot of us. It's not a lot of certified lymphedema therapists out there. And for those that do not know, I don't know if you ever heard of lymphedema. It's an accumulation of fluid. You can get lymphedema from trauma. It could be a simple as a bug bite that you didn't know that it runs in your family, like hereditary. And you're like, okay, what's going on and why the swelling is not going down? And so that's where I would come in with my experience, my education in my hands and guiding the fluid down. And so I'm excited about that. The women that I get to see is women that have PCOS or endometriosis or hysterectomies because a lot of times we have a lot of inflammation going on. Um, breast cancer survivors, I see them too. Everyday mommies like me that's like, okay, I want to get these toxins out my body.
Yeah.
And I can't forget about my aesthetic girlies, okay? Because they come to me before, after having, getting their body together the way they want it to be. So yeah, what else you got for me? I'm
I
going
think
to go on and on.
the only reason I've ever even heard of lymphedema is a good friend of mine who's a breast cancer survivor, and she's dealing with it. And like her arm,
Mhm.
I think some other areas of her body, but that's like the one that's annoying her the most. But she made me knowledgeable, or not,
Yes, and
made me aware of it.
the thing is with manual lymphatic drainage. So I tell anyone that is thinking about getting it done, you want to make sure that you either go to a certified lymphedema therapist or a manual lymphatic drainage person that is certified. Okay, not just I'm going to go to the nearest place where they can do a massage.
Yeah,
Because if somebody has breast cancer, let's just say they are a breast cancer survivor, and they have breast cancer on the right breast. Well, those lymph nodes they're blocked. So we want to create what we call anastomosis, meaning like, okay, how do we get that fluid that is packed up? Because this arm, let's say it's jammed. The best way I could say is like a car, like a highway. So for those that are familiar with the 405 in LA, they know it's jam packed. How do we get these cars? We want to get them going to Ladera Heights. We want to get them to go to Hollywood. How do we get them to go to move to maneuver? So that's what we call anastomosis, making an area to where the fluid is guided. We're not going to go here because it's blocked. So now we have to find different other areas to remove that fluid. And not put a syringe, just our hands. Yeah. And then does your friend, after getting the main lymphatic drainage, do they get wrapped? Do you know if they do like the wrapping after?
I think she does. I think it's to do with the
Okay.
rapid.
Okay. Yeah, that's good because that helps to compress because we've already removed the fluid and it's going to those exit points. And now that compress helps to keep it at bay. Yeah, that's cool.
How do you know where to get it to
To
go?
go.
Like how to like to open those pathways? How do you know where to?
So I am looking at the body as a whole. So even though let's say they may have their breast cancer survivor, or let's say they're coming in. Let's just say for you, let's say you come in, you're like Artisha, I am in so much pain. I have a lot of inflammation going on. Okay, let me go ahead and look at you. Okay, I'm gonna start with your abdomen first. We gotta start with the gut.
Yeah.
People don't really realize how powerful that the gut area is. I'm like, okay, let me start with the gut area. Okay, cool. I'm also going to start looking at, your neck area. Okay, got it. Let's start opening these lymph nodes here. Let's start also underneath your armpits, right? Axillary. All right, let's start with the inguinal, underneath, your abdomen area, and then behind your kneecaps, the popliteal. So I'm making sure that all the fluid, any type of toxins that's hiding, because they like to hide in little crevices, and I want to make sure that it's flowing out. The way how we know it's going to come out, let me tell you, through mucus, through like urination or bowel movement. Color, smell will be different. And the biggest thing is drinking a lot of water. Like people are like, oh, I don't like water. Listen, you want to make sure that you're getting all those toxins out because it's just sitting there. And if you don't like water, listen, get some fruit. Smash some fruit up in there.
That's it.
Make it a little bit more fun. I'm a LaCroix girl. I love LaCroix or bubbly. And then
Yeah.
make it fun with that. But you need some water. That's the only way we're gonna remove these toxins out.
Yeah.
It has to flush out. Yeah. Mhm.
So kind of similar like when you get a massage and they say drink a lot of water to just like flush everything.
Yes, that's a big thing because what'll happen is a lot of times after you get your main lymphatic drainage, some people may feel little bit lightheaded. Some people may feel a little nausea, or you may feel like, oh my gosh, I have to use the restroom like right now. And that's a lot of those are good signs. But let's go ahead and hydrate so that everything can just kind of even itself out and then flush out. Yeah.
How and we have like a agenda to stick to, but my last for this. So I anytime I've done like a really good like acupuncture session where she does some like lymphatic drainage, I always find it's not necessarily like immediate. Like say my appointment's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
I feel like throughout the rest of the day, like I drink my water, I'm fine. It's the next day that I'm like, whew.
Right.
that's that's when I feel it. Like why for some people is there that delay?
It could be just because just nobody's body is the same. You get what I'm saying? Like nobody's body is the same. I experienced that with my clients. Sometimes they're laying on a table bed, and as I'm moving things around, they have to go right then and there. I'm not even finished.
Yeah.
And then it's somewhere like, okay, you know what? Yes, I will go ahead and use the restroom. And after, and then some may be like how you're like how for you, like your experience. And I
Yeah.
always say, guess what? What I just did right now, your body is going to continue to work, but you're getting ready to see different things happening with your body in a positive way within the next 72 hours. So I always give them that so they're like, okay, if I don't feel anything right now, okay, got it. But one thing I will say, I'd have my clients to take an Epsom salt bath after like that night. Like, okay, hey, let's say you came to me at 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, here's your tea. Here's, some water. Make sure you stay hydrated, but I want you to take an Epsom salt bath. It's a complete detox. Like it's a complete detox. You're removing toxins. The inflammation is going down. You're drinking more water. But guess what? You definitely need that Epsom salt and a probiotic. Take your probiotic because it's gut health too. All the stuff is moving out.
Yeah. Guts the center of
Yeah,
everything.
it is. It really, really is. Yeah.
How often do you recommend? I mean, I guess it probably depends on
The
the
first one.
individual. Yeah, but how often do you, I guess on average, to have a session?
So I have women that are going down the aisle. They're getting ready to get married. So they'll do some manual lymphatic drainage, and also I do body sculpting too. But they'll come anywhere between 2 to 3 times a week because they have a goal that they're trying to
Yeah,
meet.
the timeline.
You have right. And then you have someone, let's say they're a breast cancer survivor. Well, recommendation is really honestly 3 to 5 times a week. You have somebody with lymphedema, that is the same time that they're recommending. If you have someone that's coming in and saying, you know what, I want to detox, okay, what are you detoxing for? I like to know. It is a reason why you're doing it. Are you doing this because, hey, you know what, I'm trying to get pregnant? I have women that come in because they have infertility issues. Okay, got it. I have women that come in because they have uterine health issues. Okay, got it. I'll say, you know what, depending on what you have going on, why don't you come in 2 to 3 times a month? Come in 2 to 3 times a month and let's start there. If we need to ramp it up more, we can. If we need to
Yeah,
scale back, we can. But let's start there
yeah,
because you'll be able to start seeing something going on. Yeah.
and then Taylor, you've worn so many hats in healthcare. I feel like,
I
so
know.
what lit the fire under you to create the Uterus Bar? And can you tell us more about the Uterus Bar?
Yeah. So after I had to have my hysterectomy in 2023, I was just thinking of my experience and what I went through. And so my experience was there was a lack of support. I really felt like just a number. Like, okay, here you go. Thank you. Almost like fast food. That's how I felt. Like, okay, I'm in a drive through and then that's it. I didn't have resources. Like literally I would look on YouTube, right? Because you try, we're in a day and age, we're looking online to see what can we find. And I didn't have anything or nothing connected to me. And I thought about, wow, you know what? I only imagine what others are going through. And I'm like, you know what? I want to help women. This was the whole thing. I want to help women so they don't feel like what I felt or they don't experience what I experienced. So at first, this was supposed to be just all things hysterectomy. And again, like I said, I am a big meditator and I'm a big prayer. Like I believe prayer can move mountains. I really do. And once, like, I really prayed, I stayed on top of this. I'm like, okay, God, I really want to help people. I really want to help these women. Like, what I went through, like, I don't want them to have to go through that. And literally, it was like, okay, you want to help women? We're going to help them before they get to the point of having to have a hysterectomy. Okay. So I was like, well, okay. Because I wish that I had someone to help me before I got to that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And so I'm not telling women to have a hysterectomy, and I'm not telling you to not have a hysterectomy. What I'm telling you is to be an advocate and to make sure that you get all your answers cleared and they're heard, like your questions answered and they're cleared. Also, um, making sure you hold the providers accountable too, because sometimes we don't. Sometimes
yeah.
we look at them, we're like, okay, well, they wear a white coat, they went to school for these amount of years and they just know. And sometimes, honestly, sometimes they don't know,
And then
so
hurt, and they
so
don't.
no, no. So, so honestly, like I sat down and people are like, wait, what? Like, why is it called the Uterus Bar? Like, okay, I like to go to the bar time to time, have me a good little cocktail. Okay. Sometimes I like to kind of decompress. I like to do that.
Yeah,
And I remember just like, okay, I had went to a self-care. It was a self-care Sunday. I went and I went to this event. It was so amazing. But guess what? I was the only one that showed up to this event. And I was like, wow, like no one is taking advantage of this.
What was
And
the event?
it was a self-care, it was like a self-care event. And it was a therapist and a nurse that put this on. And I was like, people, wow. And I was able to get the little nuggets that they gave me.
Yeah.
And I took it that day. I left there, sat at the bar. I had my book, and I was like, let me just write. I want to write. This is how I want to help. And I already told you I had already been praying how I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, okay. And I started getting my outline, getting things together. And that is how the Uterus Bar was created. That's the book. That's my book, my baby. The Uterus Bar.
I love it. So you started writing it then.
Say it one more time.
You started writing it then and there.
I did. I was like, because when something like I feel like that fire, that passion, I was like, oh my gosh. I was just wow, just really excited. Like I have to help someone. And I love this book, honestly, because it's an easy read. I was thinking about, okay, hey, what can um how can I help others, right? Women that are going through that or getting ready to go through having a hysterectomy. So that was the whole goal, to
Yeah.
be able to, prepare them, to educate them, to help them thrive. What the checklist, is a checklist in there for them. So they don't have to think because you're thinking of so many other different things, right? Uh, you know, finances. It talks about finances in there. It talks about, okay, these are the different type of things that you can be diagnosed with before having a hysterectomy. It talks about your nutrition. No one talks about that. It's so big, your nutrition. It's prayers in there, it's affirmations. I'm really big into mental health. It has a like a mental health type of wheel. Like you're like, okay, got it. If I'm feeling this way, this is what I need to do. So I really, it's very thought out, but it's a very easy read.
Yeah.
And it's a great gift for yourself or just a great gift, to someone that like, okay, hey, they're going through this. So fast forward, like I said, I got the idea, and this is the God idea. This is not my idea. This is the God idea. It's okay, hey, if you want to help women, you help them before they get to this point. Okay. So then I'm like, oh, all right. Well, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to do this? And I walked by faith. I stood out like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And so that's how I created the Uterus Bar Presents Women's Health Support Group. And I have it every month at Lola's Louisiana Kitchen. Absolutely love them. If you ever come here, girl, I got to take you there. It's so good. It is so good. The people there are so super nice. And honestly, I was like, okay, I'll do this for like a couple months. This Saturday, August 9th, will be our 8th one. And
Congratulations.
thank you, every month is beautiful because you don't know who's showing up, right? Um, Last month is it June or July? July, I was on the news.
It's all,
And wait, was it June? Did you see it? Were you able to catch it? I gotta show you the clip.
yeah, I want to see that.
Yay, yay.
That's awesome.
Thank you. So I think it was June. June I was on the news. And in June we had one of our meetups. And in the middle of my I think I was just talking. I think I was saying a speech or just talking. And this lady, she comes in and she's like, "Hi, I'm looking. Looking for her." She's like, I'm her." And then she's like, "These are for you." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." These beautiful, pretty purple and lilac flower. Oh, girl, they were so pretty. And she was like, I had a hysterectomy on Wednesday, the day that you were on the news." And she said, "I caught an Uber to come here to tell you thank you." Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for holding space like this because no one talks about this. And I was like, all I need is one person to be able to help. So that made me feel really, really good. But yeah, every month we talk about, it may be different stories. So I'll share like a story. It'll be somebody else's story, and then I'll pair the women up, and we discuss. Let's discuss this, you know. And then we do uterine bingo. We do like our paint and tea time, painting the uterus. Like we do different things. It's fun, but we're connecting. We like this month we're gonna be talking about endometriosis. Okay. So
Which
it's
I was
just
clear.
so many different things that like literally like that we talk about. Hey, we had, like I was saying, that the endocrinologist,
Yeah.
Dr. Hohenhocker, she came in, she talked about mental positivity. So I have different specialists that do come on and they may talk about a certain topic, or I'll talk about it. It's neat. It really is. Or guess what? You may shed a tear, a couple tears. You may laugh. You're gonna have some great food. But one thing before you leave, you're gonna be like, okay, this is my sisterhood tribe.
Yeah.
They get it. They get me. I can have my hair pinned up. I can have my hair down, and I get to connect because now all the time, everyone around you may not understand your story.
Yeah. Your best friend in the world, who's like your support system, your rock, if they don't have it, it's
Don't get
different.
it. They don't.
It's,
It just, and it's and also as your, let's say, your mate, they don't get it. They
yeah.
want to understand. I promise they really do, but they don't understand it. A lot of times, I'm gonna tell you, when I had my fibroids, pressure and pain during sex, and I was like, wait a minute here, this is not, this is not. I'm not interested,
Yeah.
because it was that painful and that much pressure and pain. I'm like, I promise you, I'm not making this up. I promise you, like, this is really truly what I'm going through. And it could take a toll on your mental, and it could take a toll on that relationship if they don't really understand, or if they don't want to understand.
Or to
I don't
your
know if
point, if
that
you
makes sense.
communicate
What'd you say?
like what you said, like you had to communicate and be like, this is new. I don't know what this is. This is not like, this is my body and I don't know what's going on, but this is how it feels. And just like having that open communication. They can't
It-
understand, but at least they know it's not you emotionally checking out, right? Like it's their,
yes, yes. And something else, as women, when we go to the doctor, a lot of times we are being medically gaslit. Like, okay, it's nothing wrong with you. No, I've already checked all these labs. No, you're good. Everything is great. And you're like, well, no, it's not. Something is off. I understand, like, something. I understand, like, this is maybe textbook for them. Like, okay, well, I check this. It's not. No, so that's why you have to really find someone that understands, like a provider, a specialist, that this is what they do. They know it because they studied this. And that's why I was reading up on your story. I was like, wow, my new friend you don't went through it too.
and it's invisible. Like my MRI before my surgery was clean, totally clear, zero. I had a cyst on my ovary. That was it. Um, and then there were 73 endometriosis lesions. So and like it's finding the right provider, and finding the right provider isn't necessarily the person who sees it because they can't see it unless they're inside you. Like they
Yeah.
can't. So it's like knowing the signs, knowing what to look for, knowing that if a patient's coming in, to listen to them. And that was when I found my doctor. That was one of the first things he said was, he's like, I was bawling in his office out of like happiness that I found him. But he's like, that's the problem with all these other doctors. They don't listen. It's like, you tell me you're in pain, you're in pain. I'm not going to run a test on you and say it's in your head. You're in pain. Nobody wants to be in pain. Like you're not sitting in the office talking about surgery because you're creating it in your head or because you want attention. Like nobody wants this.
No, at all.
But and like what you're doing, I mean, creating that space. What I really love about what you're doing is that you're creating that space, that supportive space for women to share what they're going through. Like you said, tears are shed, but at the same
Mhm.
time, have like a light aspect, so it's not too heavy and too overwhelming, where people can go, a woman can go, you know what? I'm just not in the mindset for that today. I can't like I want the support, but I can't handle that like emotional wrath
It's a
today.
lot. Mhm.
But it's like it's less intimidating when you know, okay, you can share these things, you can talk about the heavy stuff if you
Mhm.
need to, if you want to.
Yes.
You can also do like some light painting and just connect
Yes.
with people who get it. It can be light conversation, it doesn't have to be heavy all the time.
Like gloom and doom. Right. It doesn't always have to be like that. Um, yeah. That's why I wanted to be, that's why I created a safe and dedicated space that we just talk about all things uterine health. And we want to talk about, hey, how was your week this week? You know, it doesn't always have to be like that, but we know, okay, hey, it's dedicated for this. Do you want to share your story? You can, or you can just listen. You can just take it all in, take it all back. Okay, cool. And you're able to order your food too. So you're able to just really enjoy the moment because, and it's from 2 to 4. So you got a couple hours, right? You have a couple of hours to loosen up, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and just be able just to share or just to be loved on.
Yeah. Listen to
Because,
everybody else. See
yes,
like how much you're comfortable sharing, observe.
yes, yes. Because when we leave from that space, it's back to, your normal life, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And at least you can take a couple hours out of the month and be able to connect with other women that are going through or have gone through those same shared experiences of common reproductive health concerns. Yeah, so it's
If
pretty
there
cool.
if you were to pick like one chapter in your book that you're like, this is the one. I mean, I guess it's tailored to like what a woman's going through specifically too, but like the number one chapter that you're like, this is what every woman needs to read, whether you are going through hysterectomy or you have PCOS or endo or fibroids, whatever you're going through, like this chapter, everybody needs to read it.
The prayer, the pre-surgery prayer, I would say that because I can read all these different things, but I'm like, okay, whether you believe in God, whether you're spiritual, whether, whatever religion, prayer,
Yeah.
you don't need that. You are gonna, and we also have a post hysterectomy prayer. It's a post surgery prayer too, but that that prayer, because it felt like I was okay. I'm able to take some deep breaths. I'm able to
Yeah.
be able to move forward. Yeah, I would say the prayer. Yeah,
I was like, both books can be so powerful,
yeah.
but especially when it's like through lived experience. Because like, especially when you pick up a book, you're like, what is this first? Like, why should I listen to this first? There's so much information out there. Like, especially books that are written by like a gynecologist or something. It's like I don't trust in the office where I'm going to trust your book.
Mhm,
But the fact that you get it, you're a patient. Like,
mhm.
we need more patient voices out there, more patient written books.
Right,
Because
right.
it's a lived experience where you're like, okay, I trust what's in here.
Mhm. So for me, it's like when you have someone that have gone through the experience, your experience may not be identical,
Yeah.
but you can find some similarities. And so that was the whole thing. The whole thing was to be able to assist with some of those similarities that you're experiencing and then to be able to prepare you. So preparing you can mean different things to different people. A parent can be like, okay, I have a checklist for you,
Yeah.
or here's some resources for you. Here's a book for you. That's just preparing, right? Educating you behind the why. This is why they're saying X, Y, and Z. And then helping you thrive after is like it's a journey. Just because you didn't have surgery, everything is not just clear, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. You
Yes, for life.
still, it's a new normal. So it's like you still, because I go see a therapist. I love my therapist. I think everyone should see a therapist because they're going to help you, navigate, just navigate this new journey, right?
Yeah. The new normal.
Right. And so for me, like I wanted to at least have one more child, right? I'm like, oh man, but I didn't get a chance to experience that. However, I'm thankful for what we do have, right? And so this group, like my baby, right? My book is like my baby.
Yeah.
Because I'm dedicating this time and energy in this space and this connection with these women that they're powerful in their own right. They have their own stories and it's powerful. So I love it. I love it. I love where it's heading. Yeah.
And all the tools you're making, like your teeth. How
Yeah.
did how did you come to like creating teas?
Okay, so we'll start with the first one. It's called Artesia's Let Lymph Flow Lymphatic Tea. So I only see women, okay? But um I have men that are like, oh my gosh, you only see women, like, that's unfair. Let me tell you. Men, you guys, I love you guys, but you guys have been getting top-notch red carpet care forever. And now it's time for women to really be able to get the care that they deserve. Okay. I want to start there. Or usually you hear people say, oh, just grow a pair of balls. No, grow a pair of ovaries. Okay. Because
Yes.
let me tell you, grow a pair of ovaries because let me tell you, they bigger and they better. Let's start there. All right. So okay, so the let love flow lymphatic tea, in a perfect world, you would see me every day, right? But for several reasons, you won't be able to see me every day. So that's why I create the tea. At least you drink the tea daily. It's
Yeah.
help clean out your lymphatic system. Like I absolutely love it. What I love to do with my teas is I love fruit, right? I like honey and agave too. No sugars with my teas, absolutely. But I love your water bottle. That is cute.
Cute. It's I'm clumsy and I drop everything. So
Oh
it
my
has like
God.
silicone around it. So like it's glass, but I could drop it and it doesn't break.
Oh, that is cute. Oh, girl.
I'll
Um,
send you.
yes, send me the details. But I love fruit. So what I like to do is I like to like in my and I'm a tea mug collector. Absolutely love it. So what I like to do is like with my fruit, I'll muddle it up. It can be apple or peaches because it has properties that will help your digestive tract. But it also gives you that natural fruit, that taste, that sweetness that you need. And then you just kind of you brew have your hot water with your tea. Bro, it's so good. So I like that. That's how I came up with lymphatic tea. And let me tell everyone this: the biggest thing when you get up in the morning, yes, you're gonna pray, yes, you're gonna meditate, but you want to brush your teeth, okay? You want to brush your teeth because they don't call it bad breath for nothing, right? Those germs are just sitting there at bay. And what happens is if you just drink your water, your tea, or your coffee or your juice when you first get up in the morning time, now you're pushing down those toxins right back into your lymphatic system. So you want to brush your teeth and scrape your tongue. You definitely want to do that. Um, Drink from that lymphatic tea. Um, and then my other tea is Artesia's Blossom and Womb tea, womb flower tea. A lot of our wombs are cold, and I say cold, they're stagnant.
Yeah.
Right? And the tea helps to warm your womb up. That's the way I like to look at it. And it's very helpful for endometriosis. It's helpful for PCOS, infertility, menopause. It has all these different herbs in there that I knew that would assist in those different issues that women are having with their womb.
Yeah.
So that's another one. And my newest baby, Artisha Drop It Like It's Hot weight management capsule. And I
I love.
love it. I absolutely love it. It doesn't, it helps with the bloating, constipation. And it's going to also help to assist you with your weight management journey. So make sure you're eating, correctly. Make sure you're doing some exercising, and make sure, you're drinking plenty of fluids, because it's going to help. It's an aid. It's going to help along the way to remove those toxins as well. So that was my little things going on.
I love how you combine the holistic side with medical side because
Okay,
there's
well,
such
that's fine.
especially like on social media can like put such a divide to it, but like people are like, oh, you can't go see it. You have to like team medical, team holistic, and it's like no, you need both. Like a
I feel like
healthy
you need both.
balance, one hundred
You do.
percent.
You do. I feel like you need both, because it's like, for instance, I do the mega lymphatic drainage, right? That's holistic. In nursing school, the subject of lymphatic, right? Like, or your lymphatic system. If you blink your eyes, that's how fast they go over that system.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting system. It's almost like, pretty much like, think about your trash can or your sink is clogged up. So the only way to declog it, right? You need Drano. The same thing when we have the trash can. The trash woman or trash man, they come in tomorrow because they come every Tuesday, right? But you got to think of everything that's clogged. It's compacted, but they come and they do what they need to do, and now it's empty again. So it's the same thing, like you said, with the holistic side. You need something to be able to assist you with that. Now, all the time, you're going to be taking medications and pills and things like that, because you will become addicted to it. And then now you're like, okay, I need to clear this.
Yeah.
So you're needing something to flesh that out. But then you think about the whole Western medicine. I feel like, you need that. Like, okay, if it's something going on inside my body, okay, let's say I need an ultrasound. You need that. You need to be able to see
Yeah.
what's happening. So I feel like they can both exist, if this is how I look at it. I feel like they both can exist if you have the correct providers that do not mind working together.
Yes.
And it's not
So
thinking about it like, oh, this is just my patient. Like, no, this is our patient. And we
yeah,
want to help her get to where she needs to get to.
like
That's what
all
I'm
the providers aren't. I don't even know if intimidated is a word, but like aren't bothered by having a conversation with one of your other providers. Like your gynecologist should be talking to your gastro. Your endocrinologist should be talking to your gynecologist. Like
yeah.
there needs to be an overlap, and it's like, oh no, go see this person, go see this person. We'll
Mhm,
fax them a summary, and that's it.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
like if there's a problem, like you need an interdisciplinary approach.
Right,
All the good providers are encouraging of that, even.
right. But I also, at first I was calling it lazy, but I don't want to call it lazy. I think that a lot of the providers are bombarded and just
Yeah,
trying to meet these metrics. Okay, hey, the medical market director is telling you have to meet these metrics. And so all you're doing is just like a cattle. Okay, let me get this patient in and out, in and out. Oh, okay, yeah, you have that. Here you go. What pharmacy do you have? Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna send that over there to you. And I feel like, where did we lose the human touch? Where did we, along the way, we lost it?
yeah.
I don't know. That's the way I look at it. Yeah.
So you
Mhm.
get your 15 minutes. You're supposed to be grateful for it, even though
Mhm.
you're, for lack of a better term, the customer. You're paying to be
Now,
there.
now, listen. If I was a man, let me tell you, if I was a man, I would get it all. They would say,
Yeah,
okay, now what's going on? You have a headache? No problem. Let me go ahead and order X, Y, and Z. Oh my gosh, you have stomach pain? Oh my gosh, we're gonna run all these labs. Like, we got you, and we're gonna roll out the red carpet. And do you want some water with that?
yeah. If a guy said that he has vertigo or numbness in his legs, it's here's a neurologist, here's a spine doctor, here's
Uh-huh.
this, but do it, and it's you're stressed. Do some yoga
Yeah. Yeah.
or drink more water.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, thank
I
you. I
the
know,
amount
thank you.
I can't quote them, but just the amount of studies of like how many women, like the studies of women going to these doctor's appointments and versus women who are going with the man, and just how they're treated completely, how they're believed more. If a woman's sitting there, like the studies that show when a woman's sitting there complaining about, or I hate saying complaining, but um, sharing her symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor's looking at the man like, is that true? And then if the husband,
Yes.
then it's like the doctor believes it. But if she's there by herself and there's not a man there to validate it, then which is why men, they need to talk about women's health too.
Yes. I remember, I remember in our infertility journey, okay, me and my husband's infertility journey. At that time, I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I was a pediatric charge nurse. And every time I would go to work, I'm like, this is hard because you know what you want, right? And you know you deserve to have a baby. You deserve to be a mom. And I again, I'm praying and just researching and things like that. And I can't even like I'm thinking about like from then to now, like the knowledge and the research and just where I'm at right now. I'm like, I'm so amazed. However, I remember going to the doctor and my husband was with me and they were like, oh, you know, you're like you're geriatric. You're talking about my age, right? And I'm just like, wait, what? That's like, yeah, you know, your egg quality, this is how many you have, and this is what's going on. But you know, you do have these fibroids, and so what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to have a surgery and get a myomectomy and remove and I'm just like, what? So my husband's right there. So the doctor's like, you know, do you understand? Like, I'm looking okay, like, wait, what's happening here? And what you're just saying, like, hey, is she, you know, is this true? You know, does she have pain? And I'm like, huh. So I caught that. So the doctor was like, yes, you're gonna have surgery before so we can clear this out and all this kind of stuff. And my husband, I was fighting back tears, girl. I was fighting to make sure these lashes didn't fall off that time too. But I was like really truly holding back tears, right? And my husband said, "Sweetie, did you hear what they said? You're gonna have surgery." I said, "No, I'm going to heal myself." And he was like, "Well, like okay, I'm going to heal myself." And they were just looking like, "Okay, you know, I think this is a lot for her. I think this is, you know, this is a lot." And no lie, so that was in, I believe that was either June or July. And I remember, I'm telling you, I believe in herbs. Okay. I remember researching, you know, the different herbs and what to eat and all these different things. That was, I remember I had the fibroids. They were big. These were big too. So I had, at the time, I think I had like five. And then after, when it came out, eventually I ended up having six before I had before I ended up having the hysterectomy. And I was like in pain. I remember just being in pain. But I remember, I think it's like June or July. October, I did not know I was pregnant with my son because the herbs, I said, okay, I'm not gonna be as stressed. I started like, okay, hey, we're gonna change the way we eat. I'm talking about even mentally thinking the way we think. I was like so serious on this journey that, you know, I know my journey is different than other people's journeys, but I'm saying they wanted me to have a surgery and I didn't have the surgery. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to shrink those fibroids down and
It's me.
our son was here. That's what I'm saying. And so I go back to that hysterectomy because yes, I think about like, okay, you know what? Have you ever heard of uterine fibroid embolization? Have you ever heard of that? UFE?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Like when I think about it, like honestly, not having to have a hysterectomy, but you can get this procedure done in the office, 20 to 30 minutes. Can they grow back? Sure they can. How is your vitamin D intake? How is your nutrition? The providers don't talk to you about that at all. And then they grow back.
Yeah.
So, you know what, if they really talk to you about that, then you'll be more on guard to, okay, hey, you know what? This is what I can eat and this is what I can't. But I wish I had had that opportunity. I wish I knew about that at that time, and I wasn't given that opportunity to know about that. It was just like, oh, I wish I could. My doctor's like, oh, I wish I could have had a hysterectomy, but who would be able to watch my practice or run my practice? So
Wow.
yeah. And the last thing my provider was like, because I was so emotionally all over the place, I had just had a hysterectomy. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is my new normal. Would do you think you need Prozac?
Have I taken it?
No, this is what my doctor told me.
It's like they give it out like candy. I
Oh
always get off
no.
Zoloft. Even
I,
after telling them I'm allergic to SSRIs. Like
I
I always
thought
start out
that.
with my and I'm like, here's a script. I'm gonna give this has to be stressful. I'm gonna give you a script for Zoloft. I just told you I'm allergic to SSRIs, and that's not the problem. So, so what is this for?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so yeah, that's my little story. Yeah.
Is let's talk about your upcoming podcast and the Patreon
Yes.
one.
So my it's in the works. It's called Diaries of a Uterus. If your womb could talk. Like,
This
think about it. If our wombs could talk, girl, they'd be like, okay, this is, listen here, I don't like this, you know? But, and as women, I would love for us to start treating our wombs better too, because a lot of times we have trauma that stems back to childhood and that we have not, um, you know, healed from. Um, and so, yeah, so, but that's the title. I'm really excited. It's going to be coming up. I want to have like little like seasons, like a season one,
yeah,
season two, and hopefully continue. And it's just going to be women sharing their story. We'll talk about another story, but then we're going to share your story, your journey, because your a power center, I like to call your womb. It does matter, and people need to hear your story because you don't know who that's going to touch.
yeah,
So I'm excited. So that's coming up. Um, and my Patreon. So that's another thing. I'm going to be starting to accept memberships for members who are like, okay, our teacher, like, there people are like ready, and I'm like, okay, got it. But it's going to be able to have resources there for you. I'm going to be able to accept one-on-one calls from members. If we want to do our affirmation days, we want to do our power hour where it's Q&A time. And hey, did you know that 10% of women um, know that they have endometriosis. Like, I want them to understand that. I want them to understand that sometimes it's undiagnosed as IBS or on well, it's maybe just PCOS, or you know what, maybe it's just gas, or maybe it's this. I want to dig deep and go into that with the women. And so yeah. So to have a dedicated space there for them, because not everyone is able to come to Viva Las Vegas.
yeah.
So they'll be able to have that shared space, that opportunity online.
And it seems like too, especially with PCOS and fibroids specifically, I feel like fibroids, there's like nothing online in terms of community and
Girl, when I
resources and information. And PCOS, it's like there's no, I think all the resources are like these gimmicks of people on Instagram trying to sell like a
like
workbook
this type of
of
thing, it's weird.
like,
It's weird. Or it's not. It's I don't feel like it's like a dedicated. Like you're right, like a dedicated. It's not. Yeah. And then a
yeah,
lot of women don't know they also have PCOS too until they're trying to get pregnant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot, but you know, I just want to be able to serve and give back. So I think that's another way to be able to give back to.
yeah. That you're
Yeah.
what you're doing is so I mean everything you're doing, like just the fact that you're an individual doing all of it, but just like the in-person support group, the book that's of resources for people that can't be with you in person. Like
Mhm.
it's the patient lived experience it's invaluable and we need so much more of it. So thank you for doing all of it.
You
And
are
offering,
so welcome.
especially
Like,
for you're covering across the board, like
yeah,
PCOS, fibroids, endo, like it encompasses every woman has some issue in that department.
right. I didn't realize how much. Okay, I did not realize how many things that your uterus can actually go through. Yes,
Yeah.
as a woman, but your uterus is like, okay, I'm going through this today, or
Yeah.
I'm going through this for this hour. So much. And I don't know if I told you that I used to have my own. I had a segment on Hot 702.5 FM here in Vegas, and it was called the Uterus Bar. And so I would find these stories like, have you ever heard of a woman being born with two uteruses? Have you heard of a woman being born without a uterus? Have you heard of this? Like, I would, and folks are like, wait a minute, wait, what? Like, yes, this is real life. This is, have you ever heard of vaginismus? Like, have you heard of these different things? Like, and people are like, wait a minute, is this a real thing? Yes. And then women are like, I think I may have that.
Yeah. And
You
they're
know?
learning listening to you on the radio and not the doctor's office.
Now, I went to my new OB, which I'm going to change from her to. She was nice. She was nice, but let's tell her I said, this is about my book. I was like, who can I talk to? Because they're like a growing doctor's office. It's not like it's just like a mom and pop's like, okay, I'm the OB. But I said, who can I talk to maybe to be able to, and at the time I didn't have my group, I just had my book. And so who am I able to talk? Maybe like an office manager or someone to talk to about, the women that you're getting ready to have them have a hysterectomy and they need that support. And the doctor, she's like, oh my gosh. And she laughs like the uterus bar, huh? And it's a catcher. Like, okay, the uterus bar, okay, got it. Because you gotta, you have the uterus inside of a martini glass. And so she was like, okay. She's like, you know what? I can give you over to the office manager, but honestly, I talk to all my patients, all of them. They never have questions when they leave from me.
What?
And I said,
That is
okay.
one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
And I was like, okay. So you have some physicians, they're just not ready. And then you have some that they're just on burnout.
Yeah.
And you have some that just like they are lazy. Because as long as it just fits in this little box right here, long as I'm clicking on the right thing, long as I'm using ECW or Epic, which is our electronic health record, medical records correctly, I'm doing good with this. I don't need to veer off here. But what if we treated the woman, her whole body? Because a lot of times it's not just the uterus, it could be other different things attacking. Maybe it is the uterus, and maybe the uterus is attacking other different organs or other different things in the body because, this has gone unnoticed or undiagnosed.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, you know?
I wonder how many, I wonder why doctors don't consider like putting themselves in the sea. I mean, they go to doctors too. So just how overwhelming, like the fact that she said the patients don't have questions, how overwhelming it is when you're sitting there talking about your care. You forget your questions. Like
Yes.
it's time, you have to process things and then you have questions later. So the fact that there's like no follow up,
Mhm.
um, it's despicable.
Girl, I know. I know. I was just like, wait, what? Okay, well, you show me where's your office manager? Like that because when you already know someone like they're already closed minded, it's no
Yeah,
point in going back and forth. I'm not doing that. Again, when I pray, God, please send me the people that I'm meant to connect with. Look
yeah.
at you, look at us, by pleasing the members, the clientele, the patients that need what I'm trying to deliver to them, to be able to help them and let them know that they're not alone. They do have a sisterhood. There are resources out there. Yeah, that's important. That is
How
so
can
important.
people find you?
They can now listen. If you come to Vegas, come find me. No, but no. They can find me at hello.theuterusbar@gmail.com. That's the email. They can also find me on YouTube. I'm trying to get my YouTube together. It's the Uterus Bar. Also the uterusbar.com. That's my website. I have like little upcoming events and shop and all that kind of good stuff. And then, like I said too, we're going to be doing membership. So I'm doing a waiting list too for that. And the Patreon is the Uterus Bar as well. And the Patreon is set to launch September 9th. So I gotta ramp this up. Nicole, I gotta ramp this up.
Where can people buy your book?
Hmm?
Where can people buy your book?
Oh, yes, they can purchase the book too. They can purchase the book, the teas on theuterusbar.com. You can purchase it there. The book, the teas, the drop it like it's hot, Artisha's weight loss, weight management
I
capsules.
love that name.
And you know what? I have my book. You can get off of Amazon and other different platforms, but Amazon, for some reason, people are saying they order it, and I haven't received any royalties from Amazon. So it's very tricky. Yeah.
That's not right.
So that's right. So that's why I just said, okay, hey, on 208, well, I was gonna say 208lymphatics.com too, you can purchase it. But the uterusbar.com. Okay.
Directly on your
Yeah. Very simple. Yeah. Thank you. This has been great.
Everybody needs it.
I know, girl, I'm
Oh,
telling you, literally, like, again, yes, it's a hysterectomy guidebook, right? But honestly, like I said, my love, it breaks it down for you. It
yeah.
breaks everything. Um, it does. It breaks it down for you. And it's an easy read, you know?
That's I actually want to say that before. I'm happy you said that again because when you're dealing with this, like when you're prepping for hysterectomy or whatever surgery, whatever healthcare thing you have to take care of, and you're working, you have kids, you have life, you have a million other things going on, other
Right.
stressors. You don't have time to sit and read a 300-page book. Like
Girl.
you need, you don't have time to like surf. I mean, you can stay up all night doing it, but like searching the web for resources, like you need something concise and easy
Right.
to read, tells you what you need to know, no like filler, just get straight.
Right.
Nobody has time for the other stuff.
No, that's I'm like, okay,
Nobody
this
wants
is
to-
a lot. Like, no, it is, I wanted it to be an easy read because of how bombarded your mind
Yeah,
is. You don't have time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have brain space.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for chatting today. Um, we have to do this again. But
Yes. Yes,
honestly,
yes,
like,
yes.
you're transforming how women talk about uterine health. Obviously, it's an extremely personal topic,
Mhm.
um, and you're giving women a community to just feel safe
Yes.
talking about it and listening to others. And lymphatic health, because there's
Yes.
making
They
people not.
go, they actually go hand in hand. They really do. Because again, if your lymphatic system is not clear from toxins, you're going to experience that bloat, that inflammation. You're going to experience all of those things. And how do you think that affects your mental? We talk about brain fog during menopause. We talk about the bloating, the cramping, all of that, the pain. How do you think all of that, it ties in together?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Thank you for putting it all out there and
yeah.
being a resource for everybody. It's invaluable.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. This has been great.